Welcome to Work in Progress, a conversation series hosted by myself, Julian Lute, and Ed Fraunheim on behalf of Great Place to Work. This week on Work in Progress, we have the opportunity to talk to employees from Noom, a pioneering behavior change company disrupting the weight loss and healthcare industries. Noom leverages the latest innovations in science and technology to help people change their habit and live healthier lives. Now, from our research, 96% of people consider Noom a great place to work. And today we are joined by Sabrina Berge, Head of Customer Experience, and Matt Alston, Senior Copywriter. We want to thank you for joining us today.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
We were so inspired by the way Noom has cared for its people and their families during the coronavirus crisis. But we really wanted to hear these stories firsthand. And we know that you all are doing so much more and experiencing so much more through the organization. So I want to hand it over to Ed so we can kick us off, so we can really get the inside scoop on what's happening at Noom. Ed, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Julian. So, Matt, let me start with a question for you. You told us that you had COVID during the beginning of the pandemic. Tell us what that was like and how the company responded to your situation.
Yeah. So Adam, our COO, was sending emails every week, letting us know what the company was doing about Noom, but also being kind of personal and good about letting us know about the virus. You may get it. You may know someone who gets it. And in early April, when my family, my wife, our child, and I were quarantining out of state so that we could link up with our family, we got sick. And we were both working from home. We were child careless. And when we were able to get tested and found out that it was, in fact, COVID, that was, my symptom was the cough. My wife's was she lost her sense of smell, among other things. My boss said, drop everything. Just clear the decks. Don't worry about onboarding the other copywriters, the rest of the team. Just lay low, figure it out. And I can't describe how meaningful that was. It was scarier than being just sick, than just, having the flu, or recently my wife had appendicitis, and we took a couple sick days to help her recover, but it was different. There was nothing attached to it. It was get better, and we'll pick everything back up on the other side of this. You're going to be fine. And I think that, that made me a Noomer for life.
That's a great story, especially that piece where you were able to just drop everything as opposed to having to organize your work for other people when you're just trying to deal with a scary illness. That does sound like a really great way of handling the situation, Matt.
So, Sabrina, we know that Noom is a company about wellness, and you obviously practice what you all preach. Can you talk to us about maybe some of the programs that you have, and more importantly, how you personally take advantage of them to help you along on your wellness journey?
Sure. So, yeah, Noom has so many ways, and in addition to flexible benefits like Matt was alluding to when he got sick. Noom has so many things to really help you remember to focus on your own wellness. I've never worked anywhere where I had a calendar where I could choose from meditation classes or yoga classes or virtual cooking classes. These are all virtual. We're all working from home. And I've participated in a couple of meditation classes, which, by the way, is not something I normally do ever. It's just not me. But it was something that, with COVID, with working from home, with so many things being unsure around the world, I thought, hey, let's give it a go. Let's try something different. Let's get out of my workspace and get into a new headspace. So it's really great that there are so many options, and that's what really helps us come together with our coworkers. We call it the Noomily here. We're very much like a family. It's one of our principles, to really, work like a high performing team, but to work like your family. And so we do use that word, and part of it is all these other things that we do, like these wellness classes that really help us to focus on ourselves and our coworkers with real compassion. That's something you want in your day in, day out. That's what makes it a great place. That's not just fun, it's real, and it gets you to be real here.
That's awesome. I mean, I loved hearing you talk about Noom makes it easy to be sort of consistent, or at least remind you, right, of your wellness practices. And that's kind of what we see too, is that the best companies find a way to do these things intentionally over time. We say consistency, but it's how do we keep people sort of engaged with whether it's wellness practices or other ways of interacting as an organization over time. So it's great to hear that that's been your experience. Ed, I'll turn it back over to you for the next question.
Thanks. And you talk about the Noomily and a sense of family. Matt, you talk about being a family of three, sheltering in place. You've got an 18-month-year-old or 18-month baby girl. What has that been like to be a dad during these times, and how has the company supported you?
Right. Well, it's kind of like Sabrina was saying, like a principle, like every company has principles, every company has some sort of list of things that they say they stand for, but doing that is a different thing. We've probably all worked at places that didn't do the things that their list said. So, Noom, when you get hired at Noom, they say you're part of the Noomily. If there's something that you need, buy it, we'll pay you back. Like, get a book on something you don't understand. We'll go find you an expert. If there's something that will make you better at your job, we'll help you get it. And I don't think we realized that was going to be flexibility and time. Like, I was very good before the pandemic at getting home in time to get home in time for bedtime. But during the pandemic, that kind of flexibility, why don't you work on these kinds of projects? Something that you can do, in the hours between after you've put your baby to bed. Why don't you shift your focus off of the 5 meeting a day type thing and focus on work that you can accomplish? Again, I'm not playing myself a tiny fiddle, but Noom has made working from home without childcare possible, I guess. Yeah.
Great. Well, that as someone who was a dad of young kids a long time ago, I can appreciate how that's a meaningful thing, especially during these tough times.
Yeah.
Julian, back to you.
Of course, Sabrina. I mean, you mentioned family, and Matt, you did as well. But Sabrina, this idea, we call it camaraderie, but we always, even from the beginning of Great Place to Work, we've heard people in great workplaces describe the people that they work with as like family. And we've also heard from people that don't work at great workplaces that say we don't use that term around here. So it's really great to hear that sense is something that is within your experience. Now, talk to us, if you would. Tell us a little bit about what it's like and how Noom has helped you create a great team culture, because oftentimes that's where those bonds either start or get extended. How is it like to work on teams at Noom, and how does Noom help support that good team culture?
Yeah, I think here the culture of collaboration, it's not a middle name, it's a first name. You don't come through the door unless you're ready to collaborate. You're as good and as strong as your team is. And there's a lot of different ways that we do it at Noom. There isn't one way, and it changes all the time. And I think that's what's special. So, for example, we have so many virtual communities. We have different Slack channels for, virtual running classes, for example, which is something that I participate in. We get to post our times. We have virtual running races, for example, but there's also, virtual tabletop gaming channels, for example. So there's lots of these communities that you can participate in. But in addition, teams do all kinds of things to have fun. Like my team have about 100 people on my team. We have a team building task force, and they're hosting, for example, on Friday, a virtual murder mystery night. And so a lot of us are participating in virtual murder mystery. And that's just plain fun. You don't talk about work. You don't do anything about work. And you get a chance to see your coworkers, your teammates in a whole new light. So that's what you have here at Noom that makes those team bonds strong and really helps us to enjoy working here and to help each other out when one of us need it. You know, I too am a parent of two kids, 2 dogs, 1 cat, a couple of elderly parents and living with me too. So you need an extended family to be strong. And like I said, there's so many different ways to do it here, whether it's Slack communities or these fun events. There's a lot of different ways, and it made me a Noomer for life as well.
Julian, can I jump in with a follow-up question there?
Of course, yeah.
You guys have told us about the idea of your TGIF company meeting. Can you speak a bit about that and the importance of that for the sense of team spirit?
Yeah, so I've been at a lot of companies where you have town halls or stand-ups with some regularity, but here at Noom we have them every Friday. Everyone comes. We're almost, as a company, we're almost to a little over 2,000 people. And to sit in a virtual meeting where you turn on your screens and you just scroll through page after page of people participating in the town hall, either they're on their exercise bikes or they're running, or they have their kids climbing on their shoulders, or their cats walking across their keyboards. You see it all while we're hearing about a town hall update or a company update, and anyone can participate. We always have anyone can ask anything at the end of any meeting, and even after that, the party continues, because we even have a virtual dance party right after our company meeting, and it's great. The music's going, and people are wiggling, dancing, moving around just to connect. So yeah, we end the week on a great note every week.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and may I throw in something too, which is
Sure.
that before COVID, it was in the office in New York and broadcast to the coaches. So it had this effect of like a keynote. And during the pandemic and during this eternal work from home, it almost serves like it adapted and kind of became better. It serves a different function now, and like that family thing, that togetherness thing, it's borne out in TGIF every week. Yeah.
That is really wonderful. And Julian, I told Matt and Sabrina earlier that you and I love to do our dancing thing in business settings too. So I loved hearing that story. And we want to just thank you, Matt and Sabrina, for sharing your stories, personal stories and company stories, and really sharing with our viewers how to really take care of people and create a great workplace culture during these really tough times. And in your case, it looks like Noom has really walked the talk of the values and the mission of wellness, both through policies, programs, but also through that spirit, that togetherness, family spirit you've been talking about. So thanks to you again. Thanks everyone for watching this edition of Work in Progress, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.